I'm Pam Smith, and welcome to our continuation of Super Summer. We've been celebrating the best of summer. Everybody's looking for a summer that's sizzling and maybe a little more carefree and one that really pops. And tonight's dish is going to do exactly that for you. It's going to sizzle, it's going to pop, and it's going to celebrate what Super Summer is all about. Superfoods that can be used to help to build our immune system, that can boost our mood, that in some ways really head to toe are helping us to be the very best we could be, energized for life and energized for anything that's going on in this world, able to look at it with a little brighter perspective. This dish comes to us from what could be arguably considered the home of superfoods, and that's Peruvian cuisine. We're going to be doing an incredible dish with quinoa, which is, again, certainly not a new food. It's been a rage for a good decade, but it's been around for millennia in certain parts of the world, again, founded and really emerged out of Peru. This little tiny, it's not a grain, it's actually a seed, is almost a complete protein, loaded with fiber. It's a prebiotic. It does amazing things in the body. And we're gonna pair that with some superfood friends. We're gonna have some black beans, some corn, some tomatoes, some onion, garlic, all delicious things in an incredible quinoa salad, which we'll talk about in just a moment. We're also going to do a phenomenal Salsa Verde, which has everything from avocado and tomatillos, another kind of a vegetable that is, again, power-packed with nutrition and brings a zing. That's where some of that sizzle comes in to the dish. But really the star of it all and brings it all together is, as any of you that have ever been able to be with me know, it's Kore Arctic salmon. It is the king of superfoods. It's king because it's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, the very fatty acids, EPA and DHA, that feed our brain. It's loaded with vitamin D. It's power-packed with protein. And when it's Kore Arctic, you're also bringing into it not only deliciousness and nutritiousness, but also sustainability. Such a story. So we encourage you to keep looking through our website with KoreArctic.com and get to know this 3-generation family that has farmed and cared for salmon in a way that is innovative, progressive, unlike anything that I've ever seen. I'm so excited to say that I was able to order Kore Arctic directly from Fulton Fish Market just 2 days ago. It arrived at my door yesterday. I was able to unpack and say, wow, this is my salmon, and it's your salmon that you're going to be able to see come together tonight. Also check out your way to be able to get your own salmon right to you. I ordered these beautiful sides, but you can also order an 8-ounce fillet of salmon or even a 5-ounce, or if you're really going for the power pack, could order it in a pack of 10, those 8-ounce fillets. So check out FultonFishMarket.com and you'll be able to see how you can bring Kore Arctic to your home as well for the best of that superfood. But now, it's time to start cooking. I've got the salmon already in a marinade. We did a beautiful chili lime marinade. I'll be talking about that in just a moment. But it's not just a marinade. This is a very versatile vinaigrette, marinade, flavoring sauce. It just does so much. I like to get this into that vinaigrette / marinade for about an hour. Up to 4 would work out just fine, just enough to be able to impart some of that deliciousness. But I'm not going to end with that. I'm going to sprinkle it with some chili lime seasoning as well. We'll get back to that in just a moment, but first let's get started on that superfood power salad that I had spoken about. I've already cooked some quinoa, and if you've not done that before, the recipe is available to you. You'll find it to be one of the simplest things you can do. You can buy it pre-cooked now. That's fine to do as well, and you can get it in a variety of colors. I just went with straightforward quinoa, but it also comes red, black. You can get it in tricolor, which has this beautiful warm color with it as well. Just bring your water, or you could use chicken stock, to a boil with a little bit of a Creole seasoning or kosher salt and pepper. Add the quinoa to it. You cook it for about 10 minutes or so until, and this is where the popping comes in, until the quinoa starts to pop just a bit. And when it pops, it will release this little tail almost with the grain or the seed. And that's when you know it's time to pull it out. You don't have to absorb all the liquid like you would with rice. What you want to do instead is drain it if there's a good amount of liquid still left. Lay it out just to cool a bit, and then it's ready to use in your salad. And again, you'll see just that recipe. Make sure you rinse the quinoa before you cook it. That's a really important point to be able to take. There's something called saponin that is coating the quinoa. Doing some rinsing with cool water just in a fine mesh colander that you're able to rinse that off will give you the ability to have a really fresh and delicious tasting quinoa. I'm going to get that right into my bowl. And then add, as I mentioned, some of those superfood friends. Going to add a little bit of onion to this. It could be shallots or it could be red onion, which is what I'm using today. Also some black beans. You could cook your own and just drain them, or you could use a canned black bean. Rinse it to get that added salt off and then drain that. This is just fantastic with the quinoa. Actually makes it even a more complete protein. The amino acids that are in the black beans work together with the amino acids in the quinoa to give you even more of a high quality protein. This is corn that's simply been cut from the cob. Haven't cooked it, haven't blanched it, just cut it from the cob. I'm wanting to keep that pop again, that nice little bite. Quick stir along with some tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes that have just quartered. Again, look at those colors. You've oftentimes potentially heard the term eating the rainbow. There is some truth that's there when it comes to nutrition. Generally, the foods that are the most power-packed with color are those that are also power-packed with nutrition. And that is something to celebrate. So you see that in here. Also going to add some vinaigrette. This is the chili lime vinaigrette that I mentioned, just about a 1/4 cup of that, just to be able to toss it gently right before you get ready to serve. Also, we'll be adding some avocado and cilantro. I'm going to add the cilantro to this right now. Again, bringing in another superfood, herbs, to bring that dark green leafy experience to it. This chili lime vinaigrette, again, the recipe is for you, is what I call an upside down vinaigrette. You use fresh lime juice, some white balsamic vinegar, a chili lime seasoning, which is widely available. We tend to use our own PS Flavor chili lime, together with just a drizzle of olive oil. Some Dijon mustard and honey are there to emulsify it, so you don't have to use the same amount of olive oil that you would traditionally use in a dressing, hence that upside down, and just so loaded with flavor. Give it just one little taste. You may want to adjust the seasoning by adding a little more of either the chili lime or Creole. But no need. Absolutely delicious. We'll come back to that in just a moment while I enjoy that bite. And then we're going to move far over here and go right into making our Salsa Verde. As I mentioned before, the Salsa Verde is just an incredible kind of sauce using tomatillos. You can either grill the tomatillos, you can oven roast them. I love to use them just as they are, raw. If you've not bought them before, they come in these little husks. They're almost look like green tomatoes, but they're not that at all. They're quite tart. You just peel those husks away, and then in this case, simply chop those tomatillos, and you can see a lot of flesh, a lot of meatiness. When they're raw, they have some beautiful acidity to them, and it's that acidity together with the heat from jalapenos that are coming in here, some depth of flavor from the onions, and then the herbal quality, the acidity from the lime juice adding to it a little bit more, but then the avocado comes in and just rounds out all of those edges. and add the tomatillos right to your blender or food processor. Then going to add some jalapeno, and a good amount of jalapeno, because this is designed to be an interesting blending, as I said, of some acidity, a little bit of lime juice here as well, some onion, yeah, good to go, and some cilantro. Then we're going to do a little zap of this. So easy to put together, holds nicely. I'm not going to talk while this is going, it's going to happen quickly. And that's it. You're just going for puree, and it purees really, really beautifully. Once done, I've cut the avocados in half, removed the pit, just scored them a little bit. Gonna just put that right into this blend, because I'm not wanting to make it that same smooth puree that I did with the rest of the ingredients. Instead, just one little punch, enough to keep a little bit of body with that avocado, but at the same time, be able to make it just equally creamy and thick. Again, one little taste with this. So good. When you take that taste, you'll quickly see that somehow I neglected to put some Creole seasoning into it. That needs to go. And I like to add a little more cumin. Again, it gives just a little more of a depth of flavor. And that was the missing touch. One more little zap. And that's done. I'm not sure that a sauce could get any easier. Yet another little taste. And now, oh my gosh, so good, we've got magic. So we have this all ready to go. I'm gonna add that right to my bowl here. And this we're gonna use to almost paint the plate with. Do just a little bit of a drizzle on the plate. I will tell you, I love this sauce. I love to use it as an appetizer, by using just a few little chips with it. It's wonderful to use as a sauce in and of itself. It can go right atop the salmon if we weren't doing it in such a fun way as we're getting ready to do. So that's made, the salad's made. Now it's time to move on and do the star of the show, and that is the salmon itself. We've been able to cut the salmon into some thin pieces. That's important because I'm going to try to finish this right on top of the stove. If you have a thicker piece, you oftentimes will, and what I encourage you to do, start it on top of the stove, but then get it into the oven to be able to finish it. As a matter of fact, I have one in the oven that I chose to do because we have these beautiful sides coming in from Fulton's Fish Market. Went ahead and did the same kind of chili lime seasoning with that marinade, the chili lime vinaigrette on it first, and just put the whole thing into the oven to roast for me, because that can become a very quick way to feed your crowd. We'll pull that out in just a moment, but right now, as the pan is starting to heat, add just a little bit of some olive oil or grapeseed oil, and then go ahead and get some seasoning on this fish. Again, I'm using chili lime, which again is widely available. It's a blending of lime, just as I said, with some cinnamon, some cumin, some smoked paprika, and of course, beautiful chipotle chili. Nice little rub, because that's really what this is. I'm almost wanting to coat the salmon in a way that I'm not seeing that beautiful flesh that's there. As my pan gets smoking hot, I'm going to go ahead and add this right to the pan. Yeah, beautiful. And while that's beginning to cook on the one side, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more chili lime to the underside, so that when I do the flip, we'll be able to cook that side with this beautiful seasoning as well. What happens is it begins to caramelize caramelize the protein that's in the salmon. And together with the seasoning and together with that marinade that's been in place, we have a whole lot of magic going on. Looking beautiful. Okay, so as that's cooking, let me tell you about some of what makes this sizzling salmon indeed. So it's certainly sizzling in the pan, but what's going to take it to an extra place is we're going to heat up some chili oil. Now you can either buy chili oil or you can buy chilies that have been packed in oil, drain those away. Always fun to use the oil that artichokes are packed in or that roasted red peppers are packed in. This was actually done by, this past weekend, toasting some ancho chilies, cutting them into smaller pieces, toasting them, pulverizing them in a spice blender, making a nice powder. You can put a little bit of olive oil to that. Oh, love, love, love the look of this. If I do a little turn. Yeah, nice. And then just simply blend it in the blender again with some oil. Some nice olive oil works really great with it. Let it go in through a coffee filter, and what you have coming forth is this very clear but very beautiful oil. I'm going to get that into the pan. Yeah, love that. And I'm going to get that almost sizzling because that sizzle is what we're going to go for here to be able to get the right pan working for me. That is going to become my sizzle for what's going to go on top of this incredible salmon. Yeah, loving this. Give that piece just a nice little turn. So good. And while that oil is heating, I'm going to do one other thing, and that is pop some quinoa. This is quinoa that is also has been rinsed, just like I mentioned for that we cooked. But once rinsed, just let it come back to a dry state. Going to get a pan, again, smoking hot. And as it gets hot, we're going to put this quinoa into that hot pan. No oil is needed, no salt is needed. Going to get it into the pan, and literally you'll start to see it pop. It makes a really, really fun kind of little crunch factor that's almost unexpected. It needs to get nice and hot. One way to tell if it's hot is get just a little bit of liquid, a little water, and see if it kind of dances a little bit on the plate as it is doing there. And that's my sign that it's time to add just a tablespoon of that quinoa to the pan. We're going to let that start its magic. And you'll see that it gets this nice little toasty kind of appearance and taste, and literally starts to pop. So we've got the sizzle going, our salad going, and speaking of salad, what's going to go atop this salmon is also a salad. It's a salad blending of some scallions, some green onions, some radishes that have been very thinly sliced, and some cilantro. We're going to do just a nice little toss of these all together. Just a little bit of a salad topping. I'm going to add just a couple of spoons of that chili lime vinaigrette to this. And we're going to get a piece of this salmon right onto our plate. Loving that. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and get our avocado into the salad. Oh, and look at that. I don't know if the camera can be right on it, but it's starting to pop. Right at the last minute is when you want to add your avocado. As you've probably done with avocado before, just put a few little cuts into the avocado. And oh yeah, getting that. Love that. Pop with a happy sound. And This one goes in as well. I love this salad, and I love this salad with salmon. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so all of this can come off. We've got our oil really smoking hot, and it's smoking hot for a reason. Going to get our salad onto the plate. So nice. And a little bit of this salad right on top of that salmon. And then here's where the magic comes. With a spoon, carefully, just spoon. Oh yeah, that chili oil right on top. I don't know if that sound has picked it up, but what happens is that hot oil literally starts to cook and brings out the moisture that is in those vegetables and just gives such incredible flavor as it goes. Let's do the same exact thing with the salmon that I have in the oven. This one, as I mentioned, also marinated, but then with that chili lime on it, has been roasting in the oven. So again, it's kind of a pan roasted way to do. Look at my little pop ones, they're nice. So same thing, I toss this with a little bit of the chili lime vinaigrette, top this salmon with this, and then similarly with that hot oil, just spoon that. I just absolutely love it. It's like the 4th of July for superfoods. Really fantastic. We just want to then top it with a little bit, actually on this plate, a little bit of your Salsa Verde off to the side. You kind of just paint the plate with that just a little bit because the flavor is so incredible. Add a little more cilantro to the dish if you so chose. And then don't forget those fun little popped quinoa that you've done. Again, toasty, popped, and again, just gives that little sprinkle. A little bit like sprinkling sesame seeds, but again, toasty, brings out the whole quinoa that's in the dish, and you've got something that's pretty incredible and powerful. How's that? A summer that sizzles and pops? Well, why not? Again, Quarry Arctic salmon that has been beautifully seared, beautifully put together with this kind of salad, that little topper. I don't know if we've ever had the chance to have a sizzling sea bass, which is more of an Asian style of cooking it. Well, that was the inspiration for this, but doing it with, again, those incredible South American kinds of superfoods, and love being able to bring Quarry Arctic right into the Peruvian cuisine. So with that, let me say our goodbyes. The recipe is available for you. Again, the Quarry Arctic blog has a plethora of different kinds of recipes for you to pull from. A lot of information about superfoods, a lot of information about omega-3s, and great way to really get your focus on how you can make this summer, against all odds, the best of summer. So with that, have a really delicious and nutritious meal ahead. We'll see you soon.